Hello, students. This is Miss Louise again, coming to you from the Reading House. And this evening, I'm going to read a story, and we're going to talk about connections again. Remember the other day we read a story about the tooth fairy, and we discussed the first one you see on this whiteboard, text to self connection, when things in the book remind us of things that have happened to us. Well, today we're going to look at a text that helps with this connection, text to text. So that means the book that I'm going to read to you today will probably remind you of another book that you've heard. It may have some of the same types of things in it, some of the same settings, but it's going to remind you of something that you've heard before or read before. So, remember, when we make connections, it really helps us to understand what's happening in the story. It helps us with our comprehension. It helps us to remember things and be able to retell things. So it really does. It's an important part of reading, and that is connection. So let's get started, okay? Everyone knows the story related to this text. So let's look at the cover. See if you can figure it out. All right, the title of this story today is The Wolf Story. But when you read at the top, it says, what really happened to Little Red Riding Hood? The wolf story. So look at the wolf, and right here we see Little Red Riding Hood, and you know the story of Little Red Riding Hood. So let's see. From the other stories, we usually hear the story from Little Red Riding Hood perspective. But this story is going to tell us what the wolf has to say. All right? Let's get started. This should be really good. And this is an old copy, so forgive the way it looks. Look at Little Red Riding Hood and the wolf. Woo! So the author is Toby Forward, and I think the illustrator is Azar Cohen. Hope I pronounced that right. All right, let's do our picture clues. Look at the wolf. And who's that a picture of? Grandma. So let's hear what he has to say. No, please. Look at me. Would I lie to you? It was the old lady who started it. I did nothing. Would I? We hit it off from the beginning. Not everyone likes a wolf, do they? Look at me. Look at you. You're not certain. Would you like to come and sit a little closer while I tell you about the kid? I don't bite. No. Sure? Okay. Up to you. So that's what he's saying. Now remember, think about the other story you heard about Little Red Riding Hood. There was a wolf in the story, and there was a grandma in the story. So now just think about the thoughts that are going through your mind about how the wolf was in the woods and how Goldilocks was talking to a stranger. But now I want you to hear what the wolf has to say about it. Let's continue. Anyway, I did odd jobs for the old woman, called her grandma. We were close. I put up shelves, did the shopping, tidied the garden. I even altered her clothes, sewed on buttons, that sort of thing. I'm versatile. That means that he did a lot of different things. He's able to do a lot of different things. So he's claiming that he would help out Grandma. Now, you know, in the other story, it never talked about him helping out Grandma, but he did go to Grandma. So let's continue. Oh, look at the wolf now. What do you notice? He's holding a carrot and a tomato. Sort of a new wolf. Vegetarian cuisine, a specialty. If I eat any more lettuce, I'll turn green. But that's too much information. Are you sure you wouldn't like to sit just a little closer? Look at him. Would you want to sit a little closer to him? Not me. Not I. What other story does this remind you of that had a wolf in it? Yep. 3 little pigs. Okay, now we see in the picture, we see Grandma and she's talking to Little Red Riding Hood. And when you look at the wolf, he's looking at them, but he's also doing a chore. He's cleaning someone's shoes, probably Grandma's. Now let's see what he has to say about it from his perspective. Every week the kid came with a big basket of toffee. I tell you, that toffee was so bad, it made Grandma's teeth stick together. And you don't want toffee messing up your false teeth. But Grandma looked forward to seeing the kid. She even made her a red cape so she could see the kid coming. Did anyone ever make me a cape? Me. I didn't like the kid being there. She never spoke to me. She seemed nervous. Can you believe that? When Little Red was there, I felt left out. I tried to join in. I even offered to eat the toffee. And that stuff could ruin a wolf's good teeth. So you can see how I tried. But they just ignored me. He seems a little upset to me. Now, this is Goldilocks walking with the wolf. And in the other story, the wolf, the original story, the one you probably thinking about, the wolf did not do chores for Grandma. But he did walk with Goldilocks in the woods. So let's see what he's saying. The day it happened was like this. I saw the kid coming with a big basket of taffy. I was out looking for fresh herbs in the forest, and I tried to pass the time of day with her. In other words, he was trying to talk to her. But she pretended not to know me and hurried on. That's the sort of kid she was. Like I'm frightening. You think he's frightening? What would you think? In my head, I would be like, I want to get away from him. So let's see. Here's the forest. Then I scooted back the quick way to warn Grandma to hide her teeth from the toffee. And I guess that's what he's saying that he's doing. The kid always took a long time to get there. You know how slow kids are. When I got back, Grandma was reaching for her best dress in the wardrobe and couldn't reach the hook. And this is the part where it all went wrong. Now, I want you to just try to predict. Think about the other text about Little Red Riding Hood. What do you think happened next? Because he said this is the part where it all went wrong. So you're supposed to be thinking in your mind, what could possibly go wrong? Uh-oh. I tried to help her get it, but she fell over right into the wardrobe. And you know how it is. Grandma got a teeny bump on the head that knocked her cold. And the kid was banging on the door. All right, I panicked. It looked bad. Not everyone trusts a wolf. I thought they might say I'd done something bad to Granny. Me? Anyway, I shut the wardrobe, put the dress on, sort of thought I could cover it up and pretend to be Grandma till she was better. I have to admit, I don't have the best legs for a dress, so I jumped into the bed. Anyone would have thought I was Grandma. Now, are you thinking the same thing I'm thinking? No way I would have thought that was my Grandma. And no way would I think that the wolf wouldn't try to hurt Grandma. Because he's a wolf. Right? So in the other story, he wasn't trying to help Grandma. But he did put on Grandma's clothes, didn't he? And Goldilocks did come into Grandma's house. There she is. She finally made it there. So we see the connection between the two texts. Ooh, look at the wolf in this photo. Look at his eyes. Let's see. Then the kid came in and started acting strange. She was pretending to be scared again, and she wouldn't come close. Oh, Grandma, she said, what big eyes you have. Got rid of my glasses, I told her. I've got these new contacts. They really smart when you first put them in, and they'd make anyone's eyes look big. So you know he wasn't telling the truth. But in the other story, Goldilocks did say, what big eyes you have. Okay, now look. So I guess we're going to go to the part where they say, what big ears you have. Look at Goldilocks looking. She does look scared. I would be scared too. It was the first time we'd had a talk, and she wasn't that bad, really. Looked good enough to eat, if you know what I mean. Oh, Grandma, she said, what big ears you have. Now, these are good ears, but I have to admit, they aren't a lot like Grandma's, and of course, they're pretty furry as well. Oh, these old things, I said, and changed the subject. That means he tried to talk about something else. So let's see what else happens. Uh-oh. Whoa. That's from the wolf's point of view, and that's a view from his mouth. Let's see. Oh, Grandma, she said, what big teeth you have. And this was what made it worse. Now, in the other story, Goldilocks said the same thing, so it was a lot. You can connect now. You can see where the stories are alike. And look what happened. It's like he's running after her, and Goldilocks dropped the candy, and she's running. And let's see what he says happened. She was about to pop one of her sticky toffees into my mouth, and I couldn't stand for that. So I leaped out of the bed, and it may have looked as though I was going to eat her or something. And then she started screaming, Wolf! Wolf! You're eating my grandma! Do I look like that sort of wolf? Who goes around eating grandmas? What do you think? Look like he's about to eat something. And the same thing happened in the other story. Oh my goodness. Look at that. Now who's this character? Look at poor Goldilocks. Little Red Riding Hood. I'm getting my stories mixed up. It got worse. The door swung open. There was a woodsman, the size of a tree. In other words, he was saying that this was a very tall, big man with an axe. I shouted for help, but Grandma was still out cold in the wardrobe. She would tell you the truth. She really would. The woodsman took a swing at me, and I was this close to being a fur coat. Wow, he swung and chopped his tail off. I jumped out that window with the sound of the axe crashing down behind me. Now, in one episode or in one version of the Little Red Riding Hood, did his tail get cut off? I don't know. I remember him being cut open, but that may be a version out there somewhere. I ran all the way to town, and I have to tell you, a wolf in a dress is an embarrassed wolf. People were laughing, and that's not nice. Anyway, thanks for listening. And if you ever want any odd jobs done around the house, just get in touch. Here's my card. I'm cheap. I'm a neat worker, completely trustworthy, and I won't make a meal of it. No, please, look at me. Would I lie to you? Look at him. With his bandage up there. You think he would lie? Do you think the wolf told the truth? The end. Wow. Okay, that was our story for the day. And remember, connections when you read. When you read a book to yourself, just think about something that's similar or something that you've read before or something that's happening to you or something that's happening in the world. Connections help you to comprehend what you're reading. Okay, thanks for listening to the wolf side of the story. I hope you enjoyed that. This is Miss Louise letting you know that I miss you. I miss seeing your face. I miss hearing your voices. I miss all the funny stories. And please, whatever you do, wash your hands. Have a good evening. I'll read to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.